What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I wanted to talk about a few changes that I think need to happen in Star Wars Hunters, mostly surrounding the crystal system that is in the game currently. Overall, I think the crystal system is a good idea alongside the credit system as well, but there are definitely a few things that need a few tweaks here and there, and we're going to get stuck into what I think is wrong with it as well as how I think they can fix it. Before we get into it, if you guys are new to the channel, then definitely subscribe and turn on those notifications. The worldwide launch for Star Wars Hunters is nearly here, so there's going to be plenty of Star Wars Hunters content in 2022, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any upcoming content. So anyway, for those who are currently unable to play the game or haven't played the game yet, there are two in-game currency systems currently in Star Wars Hunters. There's the credit system, which is essentially something you completely earn throughout playing the game. There is no way to buy credits in Star Wars Hunters. And then there's also the crystal system as well, which you can also earn through playing the game, but crystals are also purchasable with real money. So similar to a lot of other mobile games out there, this is that type of currency where, yeah, you can earn it through playtime, or you can sort of take that fast track and just buy them with real money. As it currently stands, the only way to unlock the new Hunters is actually to buy them with the crystals, and the rate at which you earn crystals through just generally playing the game, it is currently way too long to actually be able to unlock those Hunters. Myself and Mark from Split Screen, we worked out that it takes, I think, around 6.3 weeks or even maybe a little bit more to actually unlock a Hunter from scratch. So when you have 0 credits, it'll take you pretty much 6 or 7 weeks to actually be able to unlock your next Hunter, and that is obviously a very long time. If there are 6 Hunters locked when the game launches, for example, that's going to take you essentially a whole year to unlock them without buying any crystals. So I think that's the first thing that they need to tweak, is just essentially making the grind a little bit quicker. I do think that having a grind to do in the game is actually good for the game. It makes you sort of have something to strive for, but having it be too long just makes people lose interest in the game. And on the flip side of that, making it too easy just kind of makes it boring and sort of unrewarding. So I think they need to tone it down a little bit. Don't make it too quick, because if you can just unlock a Hunter after like 1 day of playing, then, you know, a week into the game we're going to have everyone unlocked, and it's kind of going to be pretty boring at that point. But at the moment, 6 or 7 weeks, that is just far too long. And with the ability to actually just buy crystals and then buy Hunters that way, that is obviously promoting, you know, purchasing your Hunters a lot more. So it kind of gives off the pay to win vibes in a way, and I definitely think they need to just veer away from that as much as they can, still making it enticing to be able to buy crystals and stuff like that, because they obviously need to make their money. But if you make it essentially a necessity, then that is bordering on pay to win, and that is definitely not a good thing for the game. Now, an even better way to actually fix this, in my opinion, would be to make it so that Hunters actually cannot be purchased with crystals, only unlocked either per level or by buying them with credits. Like I said, credits are only earned through in-game playtime. There's no way you can actually buy credits. So if they have a long grind to unlock a Hunter but you can't buy them with real money, then I think that is a much better way of doing it, just because it takes out that sort of pay to win element. Or like I said, if you have it on sort of like a level system, so you have, obviously we've got our Hunter levels, but if you have like an overall level for your account, and then say at level 5 you unlock a Hunter, doing it that way would also be a really good way to sort of still have that grind there, but just taking away that sort of pay to win element that, yeah, it's definitely there. It's not quite as bad as I actually thought it would be. I thought it would be really pay to win, to be honest, but it actually isn't too bad yet. It is still there enough that I think people are gonna sort of think the game is just completely pay to win, and that is definitely not a good thing for your game. I'm sure most of you guys who are subbed to the channel probably found my channel through Battlefront 2, and we all know that at the start of Battlefront 2, that game had some sort of pay to win elements in it. Again, it wasn't really that bad. It was essentially buying a loot box that had a chance of having, you know, some decent star cards and stuff in there. It wasn't like paying money was going to guarantee that you were going to win. So it wasn't full on pay to win, but it was still there a little bit, and it was definitely enough to piss off the community, as we all saw, because yeah, that game had a very rough launch in the eyes of the community. And I am kind of worried that that same sort of issue is going to arise in Star Wars Hunters, where people download the game and they're, you know, trying to test it out and see whether or not they like it, and then they realize that, oh, you can buy the new Hunters who, you know, that some of them might be better than the base Hunters, and you can buy them with real money. That does give off pay to win vibes, and I think that will turn a lot of people away. And the unfortunate thing is that once that sort of reputation starts to, I guess, snowball, it just gets worse and worse, and eventually your game will only be known as a pay to win game, even if it's not that bad. Like I said with Battlefront 2, it wasn't that bad, but that game for years, even to this day to be honest, is known as a game that had pay to win. So personally, I think they need to get on it, you know, sooner rather than later. Hopefully they can try and change this stuff before launch, because I think if they do remove that sort of pay to win element while still monetizing the the game. I think it's definitely fair enough to try and monetize the game because it's obviously free. They need to make their money to, you know, keep supporting it. But if they're doing it in the way of, you know, gameplay affecting content that is purchasable with real money, that is definitely not the way to do it. Overall, like I said, it's actually not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was assuming this game being a free-to-play game and being, you know, somewhat of a mobile game, I assumed it was going to be really, really pay to win just because that's kind of how I see most other mobile games. It is definitely not as bad as most of those other games. There's a lot of games out there that actually sort of make you pay to pretty much keep playing. Like they'll, you know, you'll have 5 games per day, and if you run out of those 5 games, then you have to pay money to keep playing and stuff like that. Like they're really bad. That's actually bordering on, like that's pretty much pay to play rather than pay to win, so that's even worse, to be honest. But luckily there is nothing like that in this game. It's essentially you can play the game completely free and never need to spend $1, and you can get everything in the game. There's nothing completely locked behind an actual paywall, but yeah, there are still those little elements that are not quite pay to win, but they're sort of bordering on it. And I think even something that borders on pay to win is essentially pay to win. It's all kind of the same thing. It's either there or it's not. So like I said, hopefully they do consider sort of changing that up. I think the way that it currently is in a lot of ways is completely fine. Being able to buy skins with real money and stuff like that, that's completely fine. And if they make the grind for the hunters a lot faster, then personally, I'm still fine with them being able to be bought with real money. But yeah, the way that it is currently, if it takes, you know, 6 or 7 weeks to unlock a hunter, or you can just buy them for like $10 right now, then everyone's just going to pay $10, save themselves like 6 weeks of grinding. And at the end of the day, that just hurts the players who can't afford it, or maybe there's, you know, players out there who are too young and they you know, their parents won't let them buy it, or whatever the case may be. And overall, for me, I just think that is definitely a bad thing for the game. For those of you guys who have played Star Wars Hunters, let me know what you guys think down in the comments, whether you think the way that it currently is fine, whether you agree with what I'm saying, that it needs to be a little bit easier to grind for, and that they should probably remove the ability to actually buy the hunters with the crystals. And for those of you guys who haven't played the game, definitely let us know your sort of outside view on the game, whether it seems like it's pay to win, whether it seems like it's, you know, fine in its current state. It's always interesting to get the opinion of those who actually haven't played the game, because you guys are kind of seeing it from the outside, and that's just as interesting as a perspective as those who have played it. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'm definitely keen to see whether they end up changing this or whether, you know, they're set in their ways. It's going to be interesting to see either way. That is going to do it for this one though, guys. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like down below, and if you guys are new to the channel, then definitely subscribe and turn on those notifications. Thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.